to episode 56 of the Communication Error Podcast, the community patch notes episode of, what did we call the last one? The highs and lows of video game streaming. But before we get into the topic, we have a very special guest with us tonight. You may have seen him streaming, heard his podcast, saw him on TikTok. CollectionRevolution, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing fine, guys.
Got a bluey.
It's me, CollectionRevolution. No, hi guys, how's it going? I have a lot of props over here, so sometimes you get shirtless men, Max Steel, classic. Can't go wrong.
Dang.
You know,
yeah.
Entertainment is all about bringing the unexpected. Sometimes you just got to pull out a whole cookbook. You know, you guys hungry? Anybody want some Sonic?
I do want a chili dog.
Oh. Chili dog. I actually did make a Sonic chili dog, and it wasn't too bad. What even is this? I'm too bright.
It looks like a biscuit.
A biscuit? Scones.
No.
Gross. What are we, British? Get out of here. Anyways, hi guys. Thanks for having me on.
Just the perfect guest for what we're talking about tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. No complaints. It's what time is it? 10:40 p.m.
East Coast, Beast Coast.
Yep, exactly. Nice and late. But now I'm doing good. Are we? Oh yeah, I guess so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm Mountain Time. You both are Eastern. But what is it that you do, Tim? Who are you?
I am a man of many talents. If you see me at birthday parties, don't call the police. No, but other than that, no, I've been a content creator for the better half of, it's been 9 years. I've been streaming for about a little under 4. But my brother and I started YouTube back in 2014, 2015, around then.
Nice.
And yeah, we were doing unboxings, and then we shifted our content into doing more variety and making videos about food challenges and video games and all that stuff. Then doing a podcast for just as long. And then
for 9 years?
Give or take. I think we just crossed episode 279.
Oh, wow.
I think it was our last podcast. Yeah, really, it's just an excuse for us to hang out and, just to hang out, really.
But
white dudes with beards, man. That's all we do. That's all we do. White dudes with beards, we got podcasts.
That's the way to do it. There's no other reason to hang out unless you podcast it. So yeah, we've been doing that for a long time, and then because of COVID, I started streaming, I've been doing it ever since as a full-time thing, because the job I was doing at the time no longer needed me, again, because of COVID. They weren't getting enough business, so they're like, see you later. I was making potato chips, so that was fun. I got to eat as many potato chips.
They didn't need you?
Chips?
I feel like they would need you more.
Right? That's what I thought. But it was for a local restaurant chain in my area. And they had a couple different restaurants around. But business was so slow, and I was making chips for all the restaurants. But it was cheaper to have the people who are working there make the chips than it was for me to go to the factory and make them. So it was just me at the time. Now they have like 7 or 8 employees. It's become a big thing, but... it was fun. It's way too many potato chips.
well, that's really interesting. Remind me, I'll write it down. I don't have a notepad. I'll write it down. I'll remember to ask something about that. But Cheesy, how you doing? The biggest loser on the podcast right now. How you doing?
Oh, okay.
Dang.
Okay. Wow, man.
I'm ready to call the police. Let me know when you're in danger. I got the phone ready.
I'm in danger right now. Johnny's attacking me because the Denver Nuggets lost in Game 7, and
dude,
what a bunch of losers.
Do they lose a lot? Bad. I don't follow sports, but are they usually winners or losers?
They were up 20 points in the third quarter, and then I don't know what happened.
Asleep?
They got tired. Yeah,
they got tired. It was a lot of work.
Yeah, our biggest player, he only had 1 minute on the bench, so he was probably exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a bummer. But anyway, Johnny, let's not talk about that and talk about some server maintenance.
Yes, we have not received a review on Apple Podcasts for 3 weeks, and the podcast police are coming. They're at my door.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So make sure you leave a 5-star review. I actually left a 5-star review on the Drip and G podcast the other day. And it is a little confusing because I put 5 stars and then it said write a review.
That
And
is
I don't know if
super
it went through. I don't
confusing.
know if it went through.
So you can leave a 5-star review, but no words.
But yeah, no words. And then like you could write. And then when I tried, I did that first. And then when I tried to write a review, it didn't allow me to select how many stars.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm
this was
hoping it
on
went
Apple?
through. It's on
Apple
Apple
or
yeah.
Spotify? Yeah.
Spotify doesn't
they're-
let you write anything.
Oh,
So
that's weird. You just star it.
It's just
Yeah, just
it's
5
just
star.
multiple choice. You just choose the stars that you want, which is 5. You don't have
Which
to
is-
write an essay for it.
No, just you give the answer and you're good.
You don't have
we-
to show your work.
Nope.
Yeah.
We do read the reviews on the podcast, so make sure you get that in. Leave 5 stars on Spotify. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and check out the Patreon, where you get early access to the show.
And also go listen to Nintendo Powercast with N64 Josh Crawler, Johnny, Bo, and I, and leave a 5-star review. I know that they would really appreciate it over there.
Where we got heated this past week
Oh.
What did we talk about? I
Violence.
don't remember. What was it about?
about how you were wrong about Breath of the Wild Deluxe.
Oh, we don't need. We've talked about that on the last episode. Let's not go into that
I
again.
do remember the conversation, hearing it.
And your thoughts?
I think so specifically you want me to know like if I would pay an extra $10 if there was a deluxe version or
Or how much would you pay? How much
would I pay? Probably see when they come out with the deluxe version, Nintendo specifically, you got the Nintendo tax. So things cost just a little bit more in general on Nintendo because like re-releases and stuff. So I would be fine paying 60. I feel like 70 is a little too high. I thought 70 was high for Tears of the Kingdom, but also that it is a $70 game. I'm stuck in my $60 ways for Switch at least, because it is on the lower tier as far as just like general quality. Like you don't really get 60 frames as often as you should compared to the modern consoles, but yeah.
So you pay 60 again for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, because of how good of a game it was. But I'm a sucker, and I'll pay $60 for a lot of games again. So I understand it. I understand.
I already paid $120.
Damn. Now is the Wii U version rare now? I remember hearing.
I don't know.
Rare.
I hope so
Yeah.
because I still got it sealed.
Oh, that's
Oh,
even
dang.
better. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it was rare because it was like one of the last games to come out on the Wii U, and it just didn't have a huge print run. But that's just rumors. I don't know for sure, but.
All right. Well, before we get into the topic at hand, Johnny, what is the question that we always ask our guests? And it sounds like Tim is already prepared.
I just
And
got
this
an
is
answer.
actually a big deal this week. So, what do you prefer, Super Mario Bros. 3 or Super Mario World?
Super Mario World.
Ah, boo!
let's go.
Boo!
It's so good. You got Yoshi, you got the cape, you got some of the best levels in Mario history. It's just so good. It's so good. And I've played Mario World, I think 4 times. Mario Brothers 3 I've only played once.
Yeah. See, so I mean, obviously there's a bias there, and I think that's how I feel as well. Is like I have played World more than I have played 3, but like the music to me is just iconic.
yeah.
Like it's in my head, you know. Like
Plus, it's a huge game. It takes you a long time to get through that. Like it can be quick, but there's the bonus, like the special world, and there's a lot of good stuff there.
It doesn't have the frog suit.
It doesn't, and that does deduct some points. But you got Yoshi. That's close to a frog. It's green.
I learned
sticks
this
its
week.
tongue out.
I learned this week. Maybe I'm a dummy, but Bulbasaur is a frog.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't like click when I look at it. I just see it as Bulbasaur, but yeah, no, I don't think you're stupid. It's fine.
I don't think you're that stupid.
We all make mistakes.
Well, that's the wrong answer. So
Brutal.
we need somebody else to tie this back up because now Super Mario World is ahead by 1.
The way
As
it should be.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the topic in hand. We talked about streaming and our personal experience, and then also our thoughts on it as a whole in the industry. And I'm glad you're on because you're doing the thing. Like you're doing it full time.
Trying, anyways.
So I guess what are your general thoughts on content creation like being a full-time content creator? Like, like how's that been going for you?
It's been a roller coaster. I'll start when I started, because I started Collection Revolution back in 2017 as just kind of like a fun way to show off my collection and meet other gamers, because a lot of people in my area in real life weren't really gamers, or at least gamers to the degree that I'm a gamer. I would consider myself a super nerd, playing like everything and going very obscure. So I made Collection Revolution in 2017, and I was making content on Instagram strictly. I wasn't doing any other platform other than YouTube with my brother. And so yeah, I started growing a little community from there, but never saw content creation as more than just a fun hobby. And it wasn't until COVID in 2020 that, since I lost my job, I was like, all right, well, I could try the streaming thing. I'm stuck at home anyways. I have all the stuff to do it. I have a capture card. I have all these things because my brother, again, we did YouTube videos and stuff like that. So I had it all. I was terrified. God, I was so scared to stream and to do all that stuff, because it is scary to put yourself in a live format.
Yeah, it's scary, but like just knowing you, it's weird to think that you were scared because of just your personality and, like the showman that you are.
It is funny because I get told that all the time. No, I was petrified. I mean, I always saw myself as behind the camera guy. I was someone who would run the tech in the background. I never saw myself as on-screen talent, if you will. And and it wasn't until I went to college, which was the year before, 2 years before COVID, I started to kind of come out of my shell, as far as just being more social in general. But I was very shy growing up. Like, I could make friends and stuff, but I was very intimidated. So when I started streaming, and I have my earliest VODs published to YouTube, I was quiet. My quality was terrible. I was just like, I was surprised that anybody even watched me. And that is something you learn very early on from any content creation, is people will not watch you. You will not get viewers. You will not get anything, because you have to build it up. You have to create genuine relationships. You have to follow other people's content, and your stuff you could very easily make one YouTube video and blow up. That is always a possibility. But I always tell people to just go in expecting, make your content like thousands of people are watching, but don't expect 1,000 people to watch. Expect no one. Expect just make it for yourself. To circle back to the question about content creation, and jumping into it and stuff, it is a tough thing. It is really hard, and it's certainly oversaturated right now, but I think there's still plenty of room for growth to happen. And it's a lot of hard work on yourself, but it is a little bit of luck too. I will never say it does not require some luck to get anywhere. The algorithm, the content you're doing, all that stuff goes into play, but you're very much at the mercy of being in the right place at the right time.
So, but going back to like you talking about streaming and creating content, when you first started streaming, was that something that was like, did it bother you that you were going to have to make content outside? Like, I know that you already were, but when it came to streaming specifically, was there a moment where you were like, oh, I'm not going to get a lot of viewers just from streaming, or I'm not going to grow my audience just by streaming. I have to make content as well.
Right. And so that didn't happen until, I would say, maybe a year or two later, because thankfully I had a really strong community on Instagram and friends I was making on Twitch that they all came to my stream. So I was able to hit affiliate like within the first month of streaming, and I would have, about 7 to 10 people in my streams. After like the first week or two, it definitely took me a little bit to get into the motion and stuff. But there was never a point where I was where I didn't have at least a couple viewers in there. So I definitely was fortunate to have built a little bit of content or a little bit of a community outside before I started streaming. And I recommend this to anybody: build outside before you start streaming, because then when you start streaming, it definitely helps to have those people there. Because, as much as your friends and family will love to support you, it's tough to get them. With a lot of my streams, it's very rare for my friends or family to pop in, and I never blame them. But, I think a lot of people just kind of, when they go into streaming, they're like, oh yeah, they'll be there for me for that. But it doesn't happen as often as everyone hopes.
Or they might not even understand like what game you're streaming, or just the context of all of it. So
what's going on? They're like, am I just watching you play a video game? I can just come in your bedroom.
Streaming?
Right. Family parties, even now, like when they're asking me what I do, I just tell them I work for Amazon because it's just easier. It's so much simpler that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as far as having to make content, that didn't happen until a year or two after, because I was still making just stuff regularly, but then TikTok became a huge thing, and you had to
Mhm.
start making short form videos. And Twitch, I never struggled. Again, this wasn't until like 2 years later to grow on Twitch, because I always rated every stream I finished. I rated, and I was always rating random people. I was meeting new people.
Mhm.
So that got a lot of natural growth, because then they would rate into me later, and then I would create friendships from that, and we were helping each other out with networking stuff. So yeah, and the COVID bump, I think there was a lot of people just watching things during that time. So it was very easy to get started there. But where we are now, I'm certainly not in the same place as I was when I started, as far as viewership and growth and all that stuff. It's definitely slowed down, significantly, to the point where I have changed my content from when I started.
Well,
Um,
yeah, I think we should talk about that because that's pretty recent, right? Is that you kind of
yeah.
just had a rebrand because before you were a variety streamer, and I think that's
Hmm.
still the direction that you want to go
Yeah.
in, but you've also have realized that it's harder to be a variety streamer when you kind of have to be streaming the same thing over and over to build an audience.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was hard to be a variety streamer in 2020. But again, you had that the COVID bump is what I call it. I don't know if that's the official name, but you just had generally more people online. So normally streams would have like 3 to 5 people in there. Those types of streams would have 7 to 10 people in there, because it was just like a general bigger number of
Hmm.
people. So
Hmm.
even as a variety content creator, I was still doing okay, because there was just more people in the ecosystem. And then as Kick came out and other platforms, YouTube and TikTok and all these things started coming around, people started spreading thinner and thinner on all the platforms. And then
Hmm.
TikTok, I think, ultimately is the big one that took everybody away who was watching at the time. They were kind of hand in hand, but so yeah, the idea of like trying to keep all these people with a variety of content was something that I could do for a long time, but it did eventually. Last year, it started to really plateau, and I people were coming into my streams and still enjoying like me and the content I made and the games I was playing, but ultimately, I just noticed that I was not growing due to the like obscurity of the games I was playing and always switching it up. So when I made my decision to change this year, I am still doing variety content, but and this is kind of how I do my schedule now every week. But I play something that's very nostalgic, so something on the Nintendo 64, something that I know is popular and nostalgic. Then I play something really obscure, something that I like. I personally like to play on the Saturn or whatever. And then I like to do like a just chatting or talking stream, which is
Hmm.
something I was always afraid to do, because the gameplay would be my content, would help drive and keep
Yeah.
conversations. But I feel like people responded better when we did just chatting. So I'm doing a thing called Hot Take Thursdays, where I have a bunch of people submit hot takes on a certain topic. So like this week
Johnny,
I'm
how have I not heard you on this show?
Oh, I'll submit some soon. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, this week I'm doing it specifically on content creation and what people have, whether it's about creators or creating content, like from either perspective. And then I do a tier list and we talk about the hot takes. And if I agree, and then its level of hotness has as hot as it is. So yeah, just my content in general, I feel like I needed to shift, because otherwise I would just fade away. You
Well,
know, e-
yeah,
Go ahead.
but like, do you feel that you've lost a part of yourself because you've had to shift? Like, you're talking about some of these games that you really want to share with others, but then others
Hmm.
don't show up, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well, I guess I won't do that anymore. Like,
Yeah,
does that hurt you?
there is like because I've been streaming for so long, there are definitely times I can tell when a game won't do well, as far as it being a new game and people want to play it, and
Hmm.
so they won't come to streams, or somebody else is streaming, or they plan on streaming it. So I tend to stay away from new games for the most part. Some of them are more accepted to stream, or at least fit my criteria of streaming, because I know like just my community in general, like what games they're interested in and which ones they prefer to watch or not. But yeah, as far as like losing a part of myself, no, because I think I still, if I still have that one random game that I play, that obscure game that, you know, is what my content was always about. First it was community, and still is community, always community first, but then to show gaming as a medium, because I'm very passionate about it, and there's so many cool, awesome, random games that people don't know about, that you know, I dig into my collection and find to share with people. So that's always a big part of what I do anyways. But yeah, as far as losing myself, no, because I still do, even the conversations, it's still all me. It's still all my opinions. It's still all what I really like to do. And I love chatting with my community. I would, if the opportunity came up, I don't think I would be against being a just chatting streamer. I think I could easily, if it was 5 days a week and I got paid flat for just chatting and doing stuff like that, I think I could do it.
I think that's called podcasting.
Well, no, I mean,
right.
People are interacting back, you know, but just chatting, it's always in the top, you know, 1, 2 to 3 categories. So, there's definitely an audience for that. It's just the just chatting streams that I've done, I think they've just really been bingo cards for the next Nintendo Direct, which I like doing. But I never really knew like what can my just chatting streams be about.
That's the biggest problem, is just like figuring out, because I tried to make content that wasn't based around the community talking, because I never want to expect people to be there, and if people aren't talking, it, like, the content itself suffers. So I always try to make content that if people are there, it makes it much better, but if they're not, it's still totally good, totally works.
Something that you're passionate in and that you can keep the ball rolling.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember one time I had, or maybe a couple of times, I had a just chatting stream, and it was just like, I just need to talk. Like, I just need to get this stuff out. And it was just like kind of personal stuff. Like, I didn't really go into like all the details and everything, but just being vulnerable and just saying, like, you know, things suck right now. And there were just so many people that could relate, or, you know, that were supportive. And it was very helpful. And it was surprising at how many people actually were there to listen, and people that were just lurking and then commented. And, you know, like, it's just, you never know who is watching you.
Never.
And so I don't know. Johnny, like, when you think about streaming, because you're talking about streaming again, I know Tim does like a lot of you're pretty theatrical, and obviously that helps with content. Do you see yourself doing anything like that, Johnny? Like challenges and stuff like that? No.
So what I've never interacted with Tim before tonight, but I could tell, like, you know, you have that personality, that big personality that works really well with streams. I'm more dry. Like, a lot of my stuff is a lot dry. Like, my humor, it doesn't hit all the time because people are like, I don't get it. And that's kind of how streams are. Like, and personally, I don't know, maybe this is to my detriment, but at this time, I just want to like play games and chill. Like, I don't want to have to try to think about, oh, how can I make this like super entertaining?
Right.
Like, I don't want to. I don't know if you've done this. I don't know if Cheesy's done this, and I feel bad if I'm calling out anybody that has done this. But there's always these streams that have donation goals, and like,
I've done that.
If you know, you hit like $100, you get like a pie in the face or something. And I always find those to be super generic, because that is, everybody's doing the same thing. Like, everybody's doing pie in the face, or like even our one chip challenge, I feel like is kind of generic, but I kind of want to do it because I don't have any ideas, and I can't think of any other punishment that I could do outside of one chip. Well, I know
Tim definitely has a ton of ideas, because I think what I like about Tim's content and his streams is that they are all unique. Like, one stream is never going to be the same, and that's what I really like about your style and your content. I guess for context, and it's not in a bragging way or anything, and if you don't want to share, you don't have to, but how many like followers do you have right now And like on average, how many viewers are you getting?
On Twitch specifically?
Sure.
Okay. On Twitch, I have a little under 1,500 followers. I think I'm at like 1,479 or something. And my average is anywhere between 17 and 23, 24.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it does pretty well. It is lower than it was before, and sometimes I have like 10 to 12 people in a stream all day. And I generally stream 6 hours. I used to do 5 days a week. I dropped it to 4 days because, and we can get to this topic later too, but my time spent streaming did not equate to my growth. So as far as like I was streaming a little over 100 hours a month, strictly just streaming content, which isn't a ton because there's a lot of hours in a month. But that was 6 hours of my day that I was dedicating to strictly just streaming, which is great. It's content. I'm hanging out with the community. I'm doing what I'm really passionate about. But I came to realize that those 6 hours, doing it every day, 5 days a week, and not seeing any growth was starting to mess with my head a little bit. That I was.
Oh, okay. So now it's all making sense. That's where all the ideas are coming from, and the the costumes and.
It was. Yeah. It's. It's tough. It's a tough balancing game. Within your head and yeah. So I started to struggle to make content outside of streams. Because I was, streaming so much and doing all that my drive to make content started to dwindle because I strictly was making content just to stream. Like it was my content was only streaming, and I wasn't even repurposing that content to spread around. So there was just no growth. I started to plateau myself too. So I needed to take an extra day off to actually make more content and
I mean it's a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work to try to grow anything. If you want to, grow YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, it's all hard to do. And it takes a lot of work. And I don't think a lot of people understand that how much work actually goes into behind the scenes.
Yeah. Nowadays, especially because if you're not making content on like 6 or 7 platforms, it is very tough to grow. Back in the day, you could just slap a YouTube video on and maybe have a Twitter account or an Instagram account for people to interact with you outside of that. But nowadays, like even streamers, if you're not streaming on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, all at the same time, you're really falling behind. And it's a shame that you have to spread yourself between 3 platforms and read 3 chats and do so much excessive work just to do what at least for me, what I was doing personally just on Twitch, a couple of years ago. It's just crazy how fast everything changed.
Yeah. I want to get to some community comments real quick from our Discord. Jeff Troyvania said, I love streaming because I just play a game I want to play, and if people chat, I'll talk to them, and if they don't, I'll talk about whatever and just play. People often tell me they'll put my streams on just to vibe with me because it's calming for them. My biggest issue with streaming... Oh yeah, I can because his voice is so calming.
Yeah, it's very soothing, very calming.
Yeah,
make sure to let him know.
Yeah,
that you like that.
Well, he's listening. I'm assuming he's listening to this.
Right, he better be.
Jeff, Jeff definitely has that voice where you just put in the background and you just kind of zone out, vibe out.
Yeah, you can do ASMR.
I'm honestly like he could. It's very like I don't know. He just is like it's like he's not going to make you upset or mad or anything. It's just very soothing.
And then he drops the F-bomb and you're like, what the heck was that?
It's like, hold on.
He said, my biggest issue with streaming is when I end up really liking a game and I struggle with not playing it off stream. And I totally get that because there were times where like I was really into playing a game, but I didn't want to ruin the continuity of it if I had people that were going to return. Yes. And then most of the time it was like, oh, they didn't return. I probably could have just played this on my own time.
Also true. It happens very often.
Yeah. But it's like part of a show, you go from like season 1 to season 5. What just happened? I missed everything.
I made it such a hard point of my streams that if I start a game on stream, I finish it. I finish it on stream. That came in to my detriment when Metroid Dread came out, because
Okay.
I am a major Metroid fan, as you can see,
Mhm.
poster up there, and just in general, it's one of my favorite games ever, just series in general. And so I wanted to share my experience with the community. It's partially on me because I usually only play a game once a week as far as anything. Like, I won't play a game multiple times in a week because I've always just done 5 different games a week. It's just I'm always switching it up. Now I will play a game consistently, like week after week on the same day. So Metroid Dread I was playing every Tuesday. Every Tuesday would be Metroid Day. But I was dying because I would play it on Tuesday and I had to wait a full week till I play it again. I was driving myself nuts. So after Metroid Dread, I was like, if I really want to finish a game off stream, I'll just do it. I'm not going to ruin a game experience. And not that Metroid was ruined, because it was still one of my best streams I ever had, as far as just like the community getting involved, me really enjoying it. It was a great time. But having to wait week after week is painful, especially if you really love the game or are passionate about it. So I say, just go play the game. Life's too short to satisfy the community.
Well, so I did satisfy the community, especially with Metroid Dread, because I would play it on stream and I was like, oh man, I'm really enjoying this game. I'm going to start a new save file and I will just play up into the point of where I am now, because it's still fresh and it's a Metroidvania, so I'm going to get lost.
Right.
But then once I got to the point of where I was on the stream, I stopped.
Right.
And then I would pick it up again after I streamed, and yeah.
Brutal.
It was hard.
See, I don't even beat games in general
ever,
so I don't even care if I start a game on stream.
You've gotten better though, Johnny.
I have not gotten better.
Now let me ask you this: why don't you finish games? Just not interested? You just move on, or
I don't know. Like, I just kind of I play games and I really enjoy them. Like, I've been playing some games like Prince of Persia recently and Animal Well, and I really do enjoy them. But then, like, over this past weekend, I'm like, I don't feel like playing them right now. I'm gonna play Elden Ring again.
You're the Toy Story meme.
Yeah, I don't want to play with you anymore.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
Real life version of that.
Yeah.
No, that's fair though. I always like, when I'm in the mood for a game, I usually go with my like gut feeling, because there are times when I'm like, oh, I'm really not in the mood to play this now. But yeah, I could see it where it's easy not to finish the games because you're always just jumping around and doing all that stuff. But I always say I push people to finish games because it is so rewarding. Feels good.
With the last game I finished.
Did you finish Tears of the Kingdom?
Oh, I did that. That was last year. I did that last year.
Did you finish Skyward Sword?
I did not finish Skyward Sword yet.
Okay.
I think I'm only
probably
like halfway
Vampire
through
Survivor
that.
or Brotato or one of those games.
Oh, Vampire Survivor's so good though.
Oh yeah, no.
Tim,
So,
don't do this.
yes.
We
So
talk
I was
about it
playing. All
every
right, hold on.
podcast.
This is the dedicated Vampire Survivors segment of the show.
Yep.
There is a new DLC update, the Contra update. I was playing that. It's a blast. Definitely worth the $2 that you need.
I'll throw all my money at that game. That's the one game I don't mind like microtransactions, or they can keep having it. It's so addicting. And I thought it was trash. When I looked at it, it looks like a trash mobile game. But you gotta play it. Have you played it, Cheesy? Have you played it?
Okay, all right. So if I lose this bet for the Nintendo game not releasing this year, I have to eat the one chip. Cheesy's too afraid to do that. If I win,
I've already done it, my friend.
If I win, you gotta get Vampire Survivors.
Okay, I can do that.
That seems like a fair exchange.
That's fine. We'll
Hot
do
chip,
that.
the hot chip.
You heard it here. You heard it here first.
It's truth. It's gonna happen. It's so good.
Which one is going to be more painful, though? The one chip or me just wasting hours of my life with Vampire Survivor?
Here's the thing. It's gonna be like Hades, where you, like, when you look at it and that it's a roguelike and you're like, oh, I gotta repeat it again and again. And even though they got hot people in it and everything, it'll take you like 2 tries, 3 tries, and you're like, this is the best game ever. It's so good.
That's why I'm afraid of it.
You just it's like the best game to just shut your brain off. Like if you're having a stressful day or like just you're not feeling it, you just play Vampire Survivors. All your worries go away. Yeah,
different characters, different things to work towards. There and every game ends at 30 minutes, unless you're doing really good. Then you can.
That's what I've heard.
Longer.
It's dopamine hit the game.
Yeah.
Oh my god. All it is. It's dopamine hit.
But it doesn't ruin you for anything. It doesn't like.
It's 30 minutes and then 30 minutes and then 30 minutes and then 30 minutes.
Yeah, but it's great though.
You can beat it. It does have an ending. You can like unlock the final level and do like a.
But then there's all the bonus characters you got to get. There's all the bonus levels you got to get.
The game can end when you're ready to end it.
Oh my god, I did that with Hades though, and I actually got to like the end of Hades, like the real.
But you loved it. You loved it. I still don't understand. I still don't understand why you're so afraid to play it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Because I know how much time I spent playing Hades, and
I talk about it all. I talk about it all the time, and I think I only have like 25 hours into it, and I've had it for like a year and a half.
All right, well, moving on. No Less Guy says, I dislike streaming personally. I like to watch something start to end. 15 hours isn't it. So I do what Cheesy said and watch YouTube clips from a stream to catch the more entertaining parts. I do the same for when I miss an episode of WWE, catch the highlights on a YouTube reel. I mean, like, I think it just saves time. Speaking of
but it's hard,
survivors and wasting time, like that's you save time. What?
For people, for creators of our size, like Alpharad, right? That's who you were talking about last week.
That's who I like to watch. Yeah,
Alpharad has a team of people that cut up his stream.
Yeah,
like for us to do that,
those videos is so much work.
Yeah, it takes so much time. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I get it. I understand, and it would probably be really helpful. I mean, you could hire an editor, but like, how much are they going to charge you to edit a 3-hour long VOD or a 6-hour long VOD like Tim does? Like that's a lot of money you don't have.
Your short form content, and then post some.
I would love to pay. I would love to pay an editor to do that, but then any money, like it would be any money you earn, it's just getting funneled into the people you're paying. Yeah,
but I mean, if it makes you more successful,
I mean, it should.
If you grow it,
in theory, it should be a large upfront cost, and then you benefit later.
The ROI on it.
Yeah, it's just it's hard. It's hard to look at it that way. And if you're doing it like for full time, you can't. You have. I'm sure. I mean, I don't know for sure. Like I have a job outside of this, but like I'm sure Tim, you have to consider like the cost benefit analysis of everything you do, right?
Yeah, I thankfully I live at home with my mom and my grandmother, so I thankfully don't have to pay like any what do you call it, rent or anything like that. What do you call that thing?
What do you call? What do you call that?
What's that? What do you call?
How do you live?
How do you survive? So I do have the benefit of still being at home, and and also my family owns an ice cream truck. So during the summer,
oh nice,
I work that all summer, and usually have a nice little nest egg. So if streaming for like around December, usually it doesn't do well because people are buying Christmas presents and stuff like that. So financially, I usually don't get a ton that month. But I usually have a nest egg from the ice cream truck because I work it all summer while still streaming and doing all that stuff. So, but yeah, the financial side of things can definitely be all over the place, and you have to cross a certain threshold before you can start paying editors. I think like what that number is depends on you. I've seen people on Fiverr like $5 a video, regardless of the time, which is crazy. I don't know even know why
that is crazy.
You probably would get crap. Like they would probably not edit it well. But I've seen people who will do like $20 for a video, and they'll give you like a specific amount of time, and like you can ask for like Mr. Beast sound effects, or you can ask for popular YouTube sound effects. Like they have packages and stuff like that. So it's all over the place. You just got to find the right person.
So do they just do they scrub the VOD and then like they decide what is interesting?
So you can do it either way. There are the more expensive ones will ask you to like, you can highlight, you can send them some highlights, or like be like, okay, I really like this moment from here to here. Like you can tell them what that is, or be like, okay, I want more focus on the game, or I want more focus on this. So it depends, and you really got to find the right editor, because sometimes you can have editors that just don't get your comedy and miss your jokes and stuff like that. So it's kind of you're jumping back and forth. My brother and I have jumped around with editors for a couple of our short form content, and yeah, we had one that was really good for a while, but he just ended up getting too busy, so we didn't get the chance to do a lot. He did a lot what he did, and it was really cool. But yeah, we finding the right editor is definitely takes some effort and the money. You gotta remember the money going into it too.
So we talked a little bit before recording, because we had discussed last week about how I made a TikTok video that I made more on one video than I have in 6 months than I did in 6 months in streaming. Now I didn't make that much in streaming when I was doing it, probably like $125 a month or so. So 6 months of streaming is like a couple $100,
Right.
But once you if you can get consistent with, my whole thing is I don't like community driven funding. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Because one, it's awkward asking other people to give you money, and two, we live in the economy right now is kind of messed up.
Yes.
So it's hard for everybody. So if I'm asking somebody for $5, that's $5 that they can't put towards their bills and living expenses and stuff like that. But how is streaming your main income, or are you trying to make it more so your YouTube and your TikTok content?
Before you answer that though, Tim,
Go ahead.
I just want to say, Johnny, I think you are thinking about it in the wrong way. Like, you're being very thoughtful and sincere, but it's also right now people are spending time to watch you play games, and
no, I get it, but
it's
for
a
me
service
personally,
that you are putting on for other people, right?
yeah, but for me personally, I'm buying 6 Switches and I'm saying I need you to give me money. That's what makes it awkward for me.
Yeah, no, I get that, but then and it's free. Like, people don't have to donate. They don't have to give you anything. But if they're there, they're probably knocking on your door for you to do more. There's a reason for why they are showing up to your streams, because they like your content and they want to see more from you. I mean, it's the same reason that we have a Patreon. We haven't really done much with it, but hey, you can follow us on Patreon, and then what do we have? It's a early day.
We get a day early access.
Yeah. But we haven't done anything else on there. But if people want to give us money, that's their choice. And so I don't know if you should. I get why you feel bad about it, but at the same time, you can't control the way that they feel about money and if they give it to you, right? But yeah, sorry.
I mean, I think Twitch and these corporations should pay you. You're giving them free labor.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's fine. Fan funding shouldn't be as prevalent as it is.
But then if they were to pay you, it's probably the criteria to get paid is probably.
Well, look at Kick. Kick is the requirements are super high. You need 100 concurrent viewers, and I forget how many subs you need, or how many active chatters. And there's not even that many viewers on Kick. So how are you going to get those numbers? It's just all it's a PR stunt for them.
Yeah. I don't remember what the question was, but Tim, what's your answer?
I'm going to say 17 is my answer. What was the question?
My question was streaming's probably your main source of income. Yeah. But are you do you want to try to get YouTube or TikTok, or the non more ad revenue?
For sure.
Side?
Yeah, it's a huge part of content creation is you'll learn that you will never make enough money from one platform, no matter how popular you are. I mean, unless you're the number one streamer or whatever, or top 10% or whatever, you just won't make enough money on Twitch to do anything, because they pay you monthly, first off. So to get a monthly check of any variety is tough. But what's
the split on it?
So if you are just, your baseline average streamer, an affiliate or whatever, it's 50-50. So a sub's $5 and then you get $2.50 of that sub. And if you're a partner, I believe it jumps around. I think it's 75 or no, 70-30.
Well, I think that's that partner plus. Like, I think you have to have a certain amount.
Yeah, it gets all tricky. I haven't hit partner, so I don't pay attention to any of that because I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, so you have to have a bunch of different avenues. And when I first started streaming, I actually was making a decent enough amount of money just from streaming strictly. There was just like a lot of donations, and I think a lot of people had extra money because at least here in the U.S. we had the unemployment checks, and a lot of people are having a lot more money than they wouldn't have originally. Just because of COVID and all that. So people were, I found, a lot more generous during COVID time because they were like, I'm sitting around all day. Here, have some of my money while you entertain me. Like, it's just, and you were, as a streamer, you provide a product, but also, you want to grow community and everything. So that being said, yeah, I need to, and that's another reason for my shift in content is I need to start growing on other platforms because I've gotten sponsorships in the past. I've gotten a lot of games I do thankfully get free or gifted to me from Capcom and things like that just because of my growth and being where I am in the position I am. So some of my expenses are a lot less because I get provided things from companies, and there's some websites and stuff you can do like Keymailer or Lurkit and things like that to get keys. So I tend to be pretty my collection. I mean, I've been collecting it for years. So as far as like creating the content, I don't put a lot of money into it. So all the money I get is traditionally or usually for, like my phone bills, a couple other like goofy bills I have. And then a lot of it just goes back into streaming, like whether I buy a cool game or cool tech or something to help grow my stream more. But yeah, so I need to start TikTok. I've been paid a couple times. Just from like random videos doing well and stuff like that. But yeah, you have to be everywhere. You got to have a Patreon. You got to have ad revenue on YouTube. You got to have ad revenue on TikTok. You gotta hit all angles because otherwise you won't make enough money. It's just really, really difficult.
Have you seen the trend going around on TikTok right now where people are like calculating how many views they need on a video to have their debt paid off?
No, I haven't seen that. That's crazy though. Is it an obnoxious number or
it's always like it's like I think I did my number and I think it's like 40 million. Think about
is that a single video or
yeah,
total?
I mean it's 40 million on minute long video. You know those. I don't know if you're part of the minute plus.
Yeah.
TikTok creator, I forget what it's called.
Yeah, it's a partner program or whatever weird title it has.
Yeah, so you don't really get paid until you're over a minute, like your videos are over a minute, and then
so I've seen one where someone's saying how many views they need to pay off their debt. But this is a 1 minute long video, so hopefully you stick around to watch me eat some cereal. And that's it. And like that
I mean, it has tons of views.
Yeah. There was that trend going around where it was a long time ago. It was early TikTok, and they were like, if you just sit and watch this video for like 5 seconds, and I get 1 million people to do it, I'll make a bunch of money. And those videos would get a ton of views, and then other people would go and view other people making those type of videos, and everybody was just helping each other make money because they were just all watching all these other videos. So it sounds very similar to that.
Yeah.
Just a more newer version of it.
So I do want to get to Nightcrawler. Had a crawler. I don't know why I called him Nightcrawler. I read it in Discord, but we know him as Crawler from N64 Josh and Nintendo Powercast. I'm losing my mind right now. I don't know what I'm doing. How do I do this? Community patch notes. He said, I think that streaming has been both good and bad for the industry. I feel like it is both good and bad for the developer and the streamer. The developer that creates a game that becomes a bigger success due to the visibility on Twitch or YouTube is a big positive. But game publishers or developers that are purposely creating a game to be live service and to be a game for streamers can feel forced and in turn is usually not well received. That team could also not be the best suited to create a game like that. Looking at you, WB and Rocksteady. For the streamer, they can find runaway success. If they get in on the ground level of a game and can build a community around that game, lots of big streamers came up with Destiny 1, but are you then stuck in that directory and feel like you can't stop playing that game without losing your viewership? Streamers are beholden to a demanding schedule if they want to make it their living, and fear taking days off to not miss out on the resub that didn't happen because they weren't live. It can both be good and bad, but it is the world that we are in now. And I think that like really just sums up the highs and lows of streaming, because yeah, it can be a lot of fun, but like you said earlier, it's draining. And when you said 6 hours a day, I was like, dude, you're putting on like, I mean, like we said earlier, you're putting on a show basically for 6 hours straight for 4 days a week.
Yeah, that's a lot.
How are you doing it?
That's where I was. So yeah, I was doing it for my schedule was consistent for almost 3.5 years. 5 days a week. I would do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Sunday. And I would always take Saturdays off for family, for personal time. And Monday would be my true day off because people are at work. Like nobody, like I didn't have plans or anything on Monday. So that was always like one full day off. But yeah, it was just it was the various things. I mean, I think keeping the variety was super helpful and all that. Because if I had to come and stream and play Fortnite every single day, day after day, I think it would just drive me nuts. I love Fortnite. It's a great game. But I've never modeled my stream after the game itself. I always love showcasing the game. But as I said, I usually don't play the same game multiple times in a week. So once I play a game once, I'll play it again next week and like beat it on that stream, however it goes. But I always kept the variety going, and I always played something I really wanted to play. And so that helped a lot with keeping the consistency going and not being drained because, yeah, you get burnt out. I mean, I always take like a week off in the middle of summer and then Christmas. I always take the last 2 weeks of December off, just as full recharge and all that stuff. And breaks are huge. Breaks are so important for any content creation, not just streaming, just anything, because the internet rots your brain. I mean, I'm on Twitter for like 10 minutes and I feel like I'm stupider because of it. It's like there is so much non-constructive content out there because people are just mean, just in general. There's a lot of mean people out there, but there is a lot of stuff. There is fun entertainment to be seen, and so you're always, I feel like I'm always on. Like when my day starts, I'm looking up content on to get inspired or see what the topics are, and then try to make a video before I start my stream. And like, you know, it's always just this mad dash to get everything situated before my stream starts.
Okay, so
but it's not a full days of work. A full day of work. There we go.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, you're streaming for 6 hours, but you also just said that you wake up and you start looking at content. So how much do you think you actually are putting into your streams plus content?
Yeah, so I would say I'm probably realistically probably putting in like 9 to 10 hours. I would say
does that include like editing shorts and
yeah, I would say, because generally how I do it is I wake up between 9 and 10. I'm a late sleeper. I'm not a morning person, so I lose some time there. But yeah, I generally will work on content, whether it's research or editing or setting up my stream for the day up until lunch, and then I have lunch between 12 and 1, and then I usually start stream between 3 or 4 p.m. depending on whatever I'm streaming that day. So after lunch, I will do again some more touch-up stuff, whether it's editing or research or filming. Sometimes I'll squeeze it out a video right before I start, and then I stream until 9 p.m. and then then I'll go watch a movie and relax after that, 9 or 10 p.m. depending on when I start. So and yeah, that's usually how my days go.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's not counting like, you know, whatever I had to do around the house. My grandmother, she, you know, can't really get around the house a lot, so I help her with a lot of chores throughout the day and help open her windows and things like that. So I'm usually bouncing all over the place. I feel bad though, because a lot of times I'm like, I gotta go film this video, but I can't explain it to my, you know, 79-year-old grandmother. Like, I need to go make some videos to entertain the world. Like, she gets it to a degree. She'll like watch my videos and stuff, but you know, and I wouldn't tell her ever like, hey, I gotta go film these videos. I always help her out first. So my time does get cut into. It's never just straight like like 4 hours of making content or whatever. But yeah, it's usually a pretty full day. I usually always have stuff to do, and then my brother will come over one day, and so I'll stream for a couple hours, and then he'll come over and we'll do the podcast and a food challenge and whatever other videos we want to make. So I'm always creating, and I don't know if that's a healthy lifestyle, but it works. I do good enough.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you're okay. Like,
Yeah.
it seems like you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm still having fun.
Do you have people that you're inspired by, just with your personality, your content, comedians? Like, I don't know, just anybody that like inspires you that keeps you going.
Yeah, there's been throughout my life, there's been a lot of content creators. I think, unfortunately, most of them at this point have had some sort of controversy surrounding them. One of my biggest influences was the Completionist. And he was a very big YouTuber for a long time, and he always completed his games. He was very genuine. He had these big charity. He seemed like a great guy. And then if you guys don't know out there, he had a big charity scandal where a lot of the money he raised for, I think almost all of the money he raised for, I believe it was, I forgot, it was some sort of, I believe, cancer research, whatever the big thing.
I think it was Alzheimer's or something like that.
Yeah, Alzheimer's. Yeah. And so he, none of the money was donated. None of the money was donated. He was keeping it in and not because he like kept the money, but supposedly he was trying to find a place to donate it where it would all help things. So, I mean, whatever side you take on the story, it is what it is. But, he used to be a huge influence, and to have all that controversy, it made it hard. But I still want to model myself after him in the sense of the good that I saw him do, and that he was a big part of gaming and try to preserve games. And he did good things. Just it was all ended up being real messy. So he was a big influence, and Rooster Teeth was another huge one to me. Like how they not even necessarily the red versus blue stuff, but like Achievement Hunter and all that stuff. Like they were just having fun, and games are always meant to be fun. They just shut down. Yeah. So it's like everybody I looked up to is either controversial or gone now.
I thought you were going to say me for a second. Like, I'm controversial. I've done things.
That's it. You're number 3. You're number 3 on the list. But yeah, there's been a lot of influence. And and on a more personal level, my brother has always been a big influence on just like how I view comedy and how I do how I enjoy my entertainment. He's always been a big influence because he does music. He's a rapper, a hip hop artist, and does he's always been entertaining. He's always been part of bands, always been part of that. So yeah, I think we just like have it in our blood to bring happiness to people, whether it's through gaming or just through the streams we do or whatever kind of content we want to make. I've always wanted to make people happy, and people have always fascinated me because I feel like you can live 1,000 lives just from learning about the experiences from other people. People are more valuable than the internet, more valuable than books. Just like having a conversation with someone, you can learn so much. So I feel like streaming is a great way to create that connection. And through my experiences, people can live on and tell their friends or, grow from what I'm doing. And I can grow from them talking to me. And yeah, people are just so important. So I want to make people smile because it's not easy right now to smile outside of being entertained. So trying to make people laugh when they can,
Yeah, no, I think that's beautiful. I mean, there's a Charlie Chaplin quote that is a day without laughter is a day wasted.
It's a great quote.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you did a great job of just kind of explaining why people stream in the first place. I mean, maybe they do it for other reasons, but I think for the most part, it's just that they wanted to try a new hobby or share their hobby with others.
Yep.
And build this community and friendship. And but yeah, if you can give somebody a gift, which is them being happy, and like you said, that's just hard to do these days.
Yeah, it's but even like you guys here talking about the like one chip challenge and stuff, like I think there's a lot of value in doing that because it will be your version of it. So even if it's something that everyone's done before, it'll be you guys doing it.
Well, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to have to do it.
Hypothetically, if it happens.
Yeah, I think there's going to be one game, Johnny. I think there's going to be one game that's going to save me.
I don't know.
I'm looking at Tim's hat. And I'm like, oh God, if Kirby does me in, Kirby
comes out every year. There's so much Kirby. It's crazy. But yeah, has Nintendo had nothing new this year? Other than remakes and stuff.
So I guess technically the Peach.
Oh, Peach, true. An Endless Ocean, technically.
But we knew about Peach when we made this bet. We knew about Peach and we knew about Endless Ocean.
Yeah, we made it after Endless Ocean.
Okay. Yeah, we have a direct in June?
Yeah, in June. I might be ordering that chip in June. I don't know.
Get that chip. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we're really close to the end of the Switch lifestyle. I hope we are. Man, that thing has been chugging along. It's they got to put it down. It's a good console, but
look, man, just because Sega follows you doesn't mean that you have to trash on Nintendo right now.
Hey, I love all consoles equally.
What I don't understand about it, like, I mean, I don't want them to release a new game because of this bet, but like, there's 140 million Switches out there. Like, why would they just leave them in the dust?
For sure.
And not release something for them. But I do feel like they left them in the dust this year.
It's definitely been a weird year because it's a lot of, because we have Luigi's Mansion 2, and
then we have Paper Mario this week.
Paper Mario, yeah. That's a bizarre, but wasn't that the 3DS? Isn't that how it went out too? Was a couple ports? They did.
I mean, that's how they usually do it.
Mansion
the Wii was like that. The Wii U
Samus
was already
Return
dead.
Yeah. Right. So, but I think they could do like a dual release, something for the Switch and the Switch 2, like when they have the whatever the new games for the Switch are. Switch 2, I should say. They could do like a dual release for that. But yeah, otherwise, I don't see anything secret coming out that they wouldn't just save for Switch 2 if it's on the horizon.
So I have another issue. I made a video like back in January about I will renounce Nintendo if they don't release the Switch 2 in 2024.
Dude, you're screwed. You're screwed.
And it's not happening. So I got to somehow play this off as if it was a joke.
How do you, dude, you cannot. You gotta, maybe you can make it like a whole eulogy and you're like saying Nintendo died or something. And then you're like, haha, it's Nintendo 2.
I said I was going to change my name to to Johnny Station,
do it for a week.
I'll definitely do something for it. I just, I won't. But there has been one person in my comment section, every single every video they comment, I thought you were renouncing Nintendo. I thought you were renouncing Nintendo. It's like, bro, do you take everything seriously on the internet? My whole life is Nintendo.
You are Nintendo.
Oh, they pay me. They pay me to talk good about their games, clearly. I would do it for no other reason.
Dude, you're a shill. I get it.
I did one. What?
Yeah, go ahead, Johnny.
No, never mind. Well, I was going to shout out a couple more comments, but did you have a question?
No, do it.
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to Uncle G because I've been hanging out in his streams recently. He actually got back into streaming recently. He left a comment saying that he ultimately stopped streaming as much as it was way too much to try to maintain, and the pressure was too much to get my numbers up. All the pressure that he put on himself needlessly. Ultimately, all the numbers went down as COVID subsided and people went back to their lives. That's what killed it for me. It felt pointless trying to stream to 3 people when I used to stream to 15 to 20 at a given time. Twitch is too hard to control. You can't just work hard and have it pay off. Too much of it is luck and happenstance. Now I'm back on Twitch regularly, not for the numbers, but for myself. Less hours than before, but trying to be consistent, giving myself a chance for growth, but knowing it's all I can do. Having fun and no pressure is a new priority. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, I've been hanging out in his streams. They've been really fun. He's just kind of been playing Cult of the Lamb. I'm part of his cult.
That's a great Twitch game.
He's been playing with his wife, so that's been fun. Well, no, not his wife. I think it's fiance. Sorry, Jeep. I played some Mario. He sucks at Mario Kart. I beat him at Mario Kart 100% of the time.
Dude, I've banned Mario Kart from my streams.
Really?
I hate it. I'm so sick of it.
Oh, I love it.
It's a great game, but every time I play, there's usually a couple like people who are really, really good,
Yeah.
And so I'm always in the bottom.
You're fighting for second. Like
exactly.
You just have to. I used to stream Mario Kart more than like. I used to do that fairly often because I always like playing games with the community, and that one was always like one of the easiest ones because
for sure everybody's got it.
Everybody can play. But yeah, there is always like one or two sweats that are just like always ahead of the pack. So you're playing for second place, and I mean it's not that fun for everybody.
Yeah, and it's not that it's like a bad thing or anything. Like, and because sometimes there are people who pass them, and then it's like a crazy time because they're like, oh my god, they can be beaten. But yeah, it is there's usually, and the same could be said for Smash. Like, I love Smash. I would say I'm probably one of those sweats. I don't know if I'm good, but I can get sweaty.
Who's your main?
Samus. I love Samus. But I play literally everybody. I play random.
Everybody?
I've been playing it for
80 characters?
Every single, if I click random, I can play with anybody. I think my worst character is probably Olimar, but it's just because he's not very good. I like him to a degree, but not great with them.
We played Smash a little bit the other day. I missed that game's awesome. I want to.
It's so
play
good
it again.
It's one of the most like universally great games. Like, you can play it. I'll play it 10 years from now and still love it. Same with like Melee and Smash 64. Like, you can still go back and they're great. It's so good. But just to jump on that point a little bit, yeah, there's a huge shift in streaming in general. I think there's so many people who are not streaming as much as they once did because of the lack of viewership in general. And now the whole game is making content everywhere, and there's not as much value streaming as much on Twitch as there once was, because you have to make content everywhere. So people are just streaming less. So I think it's smart to spend less time doing it and doing it for fun. You always got to do it for fun. If you don't do it for fun, then you're really, all the numbers will get to your head. Everything will get to your head. You have to do it for fun.
Yeah. If you were running Twitch, how would you change their visibility?
Oh, that's a good question. That's tough because there is, if you know how the visibility works, you can play the game. You can, there are tags, there are ways to search for people. But yeah, how would I do it? Oh,
because right now they have like their stories, and then they have clips,
which I think,
or a clip show. Is that what the like short version?
Yeah, where you like can swipe through like people's streams and stuff like that. That is probably the way to go with it, but I think they should do it by category. So not random, but you can like go to the retro tab and then scroll through retro streamers. And I don't know if you can do that because I haven't really jumped into it too much, but stories I don't really find very useful. Because everybody who views stories does it on Instagram or looks at your tweets. I don't think anybody's going to Twitch to view your story. From what I could tell, I mean, they show you how many people view your stuff, and mine was okay. It wasn't anything crazy, but I always forget about it, that it's a thing. But yeah, you would probably have to make it like TikTok. But you should be able to search certain like keywords or certain categories. That would probably be the way to do it.
I think they should make it like TikTok, where you could actually just upload your TikToks, like instead of just clips. Because like clips are all well and good, and I understand why they would only want to do clips because it shows what the stream is like. Ecosystem. But like me being me, I suck at streaming, but I could make a decent 15-second clip that could entice somebody to maybe check out the profile.
You could technically upload them. You don't have to do it like, it won't be TikTok style, but if you go online, you can upload any video to your Twitch.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep. You can upload anything. And then, so they do have a thing where it's a featured clip. So when they go to your page, you can just pick whichever featured videos you want. So it could be uploaded videos or streams or whatever. So it can be done, but like nobody ever does it. It's a rare thing to upload those. Because I think where it struggles is discoverability. Like those don't, the only way you'll see those is if you go to your page, which is, I mean, people might do that, but.
Well, I know that we are coming up on an hour, or we're past an hour, but
I'm flying.
Johnny, I did write potato chip down. So what was it that you were going to say?
Oh my God.
What
was so long ago?
I just wasted paper on this.
He did the work. I'll play the bongos.
So you're on the East Coast, right?
Yes.
I don't know where at. I'm in Pennsylvania. There is a potato chip company that is only from my hometown.
Mhm.
And I've never found them outside. You don't have to answer. Like, you tell me off, but is it Gibbles?
Never heard of them. It is not. It is not.
Middlesworth.
Nope. It's no. I don't. Is
That
a
wasn't the
place? What are
question.
you
I
talking
honestly
about?
don't
Okay.
remember the question. But
What the?
Oh.
What a rip.
Well, and on that exciting
oh wait, hold on.
note-
I do have a food related thing. I wanted to
Okay.
Always.
to shout out the name's Jer. We had mentioned on the last episode. Well, Cheesy wants to be sponsored by Taco Bell, and I said
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
enjoy it, and then 20 minutes later, I don't enjoy it. And Jer says, I have also never had issues eating Taco Bell, and I believe he's lying. Tim, are you a Taco Bell connoisseur?
Very much so. Yeah, I would say I don't eat it a lot, but when I do, I go nuts. I'll eat it a lot when I get it.
And do you regret it like 20 minutes later?
No, I for fun, I'll eat Oreos and squeeze cheese. I'll take the easy squeeze cheese and make Oreo sandwiches with it. I have
Like you take the cream out and you replace it with cheese?
No, I leave the cream in. Nope. Yeah, it's similar to a cheesecake a little bit.
No, it is not.
It is. It is.
No,
you gotta
it's
try
not.
it. You gotta try it. I've been trying to tell people for years that it's tasty. It's like a little salty, a little sweet. So that being said, I have a stomach of steel, and it's very rare if I get any kind of adventurous outing to the bathroom after I eat.
Maybe I just have a digestive problem, and I definitely do. I
I mean,
probably should
Taco
go to
Bell-
the doctor, but
I think. I mean, Cheesy makes sense because he eats a lot of cheese, so nothing will really get through him.
True.
Okay, so,
So
I
I think-
do like Taco Bell. I do like Taco Bell,
hmm
but it never sits well with me. I like the Nachos Grande taco. You know,
That's a good one.
the Doritos taco.
Oh, dude, I go nuts for those. They're so good.
But yeah, I always regret it.
hmm It happens. I mean, I think a lot of people get stomach aches from like McDonald's and stuff too, and I feel like McDonald's is so basic, but people got weak stomachs. I don't know.
I actually, okay, since we're talking about it, I did see that you and your brother made on your podcast, you were talking about the items that Taco Bell is coming out with, and one of them is the Cheez-It Crunchwrap Supreme, a giant Cheez-It in a Crunchwrap Supreme.
hmm
Are you eating it?
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah,
of
I feel the same
course.
way.
It's day one. I don't even know. Is it out yet? I hope it's out soon. I want
It's not
it.
out yet, no. But so far, and it's so dumb because I know, like, it was during the Super Bowl, like
Mhm.
that weekend, they had this press conference as if it was like an Apple keynote of
Dude.
all of the items that they're going to have out this year. And I
Yeah.
thought it was so stupid. And yet I have tried every single new item so far.
We're still talking about it today. It was the E3 of Taco Bell. It's insane. But yeah, I have been very excited to try it. I think more companies should do that. As ridiculous and insane as it was.
Yeah,
I
it was
think
kind of exciting.
Yeah, to see like new releases of food. New food.
Yeah.
Food doesn't get new, it's just food. So to see new stuff is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know, Johnny, how do you want to end this? 'Cause,
Well, I guess where can people find you? Thanks for
You
being on.
guys.
Thanks for being on the show. I don't want to just like shoo
it's
you
okay.
off.
Just-
Like,
all
where
right,
can
I'll
people
leave.
find you?
See
Get out of
ya.
here.
No, thank you guys for having me on. It's been a lot of fun. I hope I was able to answer some questions. I know I tend to go off in tangents and talk about a lot of stuff. So
No,
hopefully
I mean,
was able
that's
to
a
answer
good
some
guess.
questions. Mhm.
yeah.
To the ones who just don't shut up. That's that's a
Well,
good
I mean,
it's
guess.
worked
it's an easy
for
job
me.
for Johnny. Yeah.
Exactly. You guys
Johnny
can
and
just
I.
let me just talk the whole time. But yeah, you guys can find me at Collection Revolution everywhere, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Threads, on YouTube, on Twitch. Did I say Twitch? I'm Collect Revo on Twitter. Something like that. I don't know. It's I couldn't fit Collection Revolution, so I made some short, goofy name. Not expecting to use Twitter. But you'll find me on there somewhere.
And the Keep Up podcast.
Right. I almost forgot. Yeah, my brother and I do a variety podcast where we talk about video games, movies, comics, food, just anything. It's just us hanging out for an hour or so. The Keep Up podcast, and that's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you get podcasts. Assuming wherever you guys are listening to this right now, that's where we are too. Mhm.
Well, thank you so much, Johnny. Where can people find you?
I'm Johnny Bo everywhere: Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and the Nintendo Powercast.
And you can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, not Twitch. Surprisingly, I don't know.
Yet.
It's interesting. It's
Your
interesting.
streams
I
were
don't
good,
know.
Cheesy.
I
Your
keep
streams
going
were
back
good.
and forth. I appreciate that.
I
They
enjoyed
were
watching
good for
your
making me
streams.
fall asleep.
Rude. That's it. Police, get them over here. There's been a murder. It's so sad. Oh, I liked them though.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But GCC 64, CHEEZYC 64, and the Nintendo Powercast. Tim, how do we close this out? What are the last words you have?
Oh, that's easy. Bacon is a fruit when you ask dogs.